Okay, so welcome. Tonight we're going to talk about the Sustainable Jersey Bergen County Hub Styrofoam Free program. The program has 4 parts: education, incentives, recycling, and policy. The goals of the program are to reduce EPS and to recycle XPS. The Styrofoam Free program was awarded a regional grant from Sustainable Jersey in the amount of $6,200. The time frame of the grant started November 2018 through April 2020. The fiscal agent of the grant was Ridgefield Park. 9 towns initially were part of the grant program, and they're listed here. And 8 additional towns joined on once we started. So when COVID hit a year ago, we were left with balance in our funds from the grant, and we're not able to hold any drives. So we were unsure what to do. At that point, there was another hub program that was starting, and the committee decided that we would keep a small amount in our budget, and the balance of the grant money would go over to the Creative Bergen program. So we kept $1,000. Once COVID, everything calmed down a little bit, we did decide to have 3 more drives to use up the grant money that we had. And Glen Rock had on their own hosted a couple of the drives, had done it beautifully with all COVID restrictions, and all of their volunteers and people that attended felt very comfortable about that. So with them going ahead and doing that and their results, we decided to move forward. So Hillsdale Drive was the day after Christmas, and the Fairlawn Drive was the day after New Year's. Ridgewoods Drive is coming up in April. So at that point, the balance of the funds are exhausted, and we have no more money to be hosting drives. But we have been supporting other towns that are deciding to do drives with our experience and with other support. So again, the program is a 4-part program. It was created by a mom in Leonia, and her Girl Scouts were very instrumental in this getting kicked off the ground. So once they were successful, they brought it to the hub, and we took it over, and we've been working on it since April. So the first part is education. So it's a Science of Styrofoam STEM program was created. The presentation is geared towards school-age children, told through the eyes of a sleepy scientist. We created a trifold pamphlet and other program literature, which was distributed at all of our collection drives. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay. I went too far. Oh goodness. I can't get out. It's not responding. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hang on one second. Oh, here we go. Oh, geez. Okay. So incentives. Can you see my screen?
No, you have to share it again.
Oh. Oh, I thought you could see it. How about now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, incentives. So the Styrofoam Free Business Awards and window clings were awarded to towns that were styrofoam free. If you know of a business in your town that's styrofoam free, they could be eligible for one of these awards. You could let us know by emailing us at our address, which we're going to drop in the chat. Recycling. Styrofoam collections were held and were open to all Bergen County towns. At the drives, we collected petitions, signatures to ban XPS, and we collected email addresses. We accumulated over 250 emails, which were used to communicate future drives and general information. Permanent containers. Through the works of this committee and the towns involved, 7 towns began ongoing styrofoam collection programs with permanent containers. This was a huge accomplishment and was one of our goals for this program. Part 4 is policy, ordinances, and resolutions. We encouraged local, county, and state officials to ban styrofoam food containers, XPS, and recycle styrofoam, EPS. We set up an online petition signing program with change.org. We collected 650 signed petitions and presented them to the freeholders. We were present at the meeting that the Bergen County freeholders unanimously passed ordinance number 19-25, banning styrofoam XPS foodware from county vendors and property. Press coverage. Our program was featured on the front cover of the ANJAC Report magazine, spring 2019. EPS collection drives, photos, and an article were featured in northjersey.com, and we received the 2019 Creativity and Innovation Award from Sustainable Jersey back in November 2019. We want to give a big thank you to our many sponsors and partners listed here. And here you go, a picture sends the message by looking at this styrofoam. On the left, it's the drive from Fairlawn, and on the right is the styrofoam being delivered to the recycling center. Can you see in that circle there, there's like 4 people that are being totally surrounded by the styrofoam. Okay, so hashtag EPS foam needs to be recycled. Okay, I'm gonna send it over to Margaret.
Okay. Hi. Okay, I'm Margaret Denicola. I'm with the Environmental Committee in Oradell, New Jersey, of course, and I'm also with the Bergen County Hub. I work with the Styrofoam Free Committee, and I'm going to be doing a presentation today that's adapted from our children's presentation. So I hope you have fun with it and learn a lot along the way. So just give me a moment to share my screen. And okay. Everybody ready?
Ready.
Okay, so today we're doing the science of styrofoam. I welcome you to the Sustainable Jersey Bergen County Styrofoam Free Committee presentation of the science of styrofoam. And as you heard Christine say, styrofoam is definitely a major environmental problem. It's not biodegradable, and it has the potential to affect the entire ecological system of this planet. So let's start out simple. Let's take this simple styrofoam coffee cup. So what happens to a coffee cup in a landfill? Anybody guess? Absolutely nothing. You can enjoy a beverage in a styrofoam cup for a brief few minutes today, and it'll be sitting in a landfill for the next 500 years. And over 25 billion styrofoam coffee cups are thrown into landfills every single year. So we're going to take a look at styrofoam food containers first and their impact on the environment and on our health. Oh, but first we're going to look at this. And the second type of styrofoam we're going to talk about is packing foam. Okay, so we're going to start simple again with some egg cartons. And you can see we have various kinds here. Some are made out of plastic, peat ones, some are made out of styrofoam, and some are made out of cardboard. So everyone can guess what this one's made out of. I don't hear you, cardboard. Okay. And we know that cardboard is a renewable and degradable resource. And we know that it comes from trees, and all these things are made from trees, the same material. Our paper bags, the mail, the newspapers, cardboard boxes, cereal boxes, and so on. But back to the egg carton. So what is this egg carton made out of? Well, it's a little bit more complicated because it's made out of styrofoam. And styrofoam is actually a nickname or a trade name for polystyrene. Let me just get rid of this thing here. And egg cartons, coffee cups, plates, food service containers, meat trays, they're all made out of polystyrene. So you can see that styrofoam is a nickname or a trade name. The middle name of this is polystyrene, and the initials, Christine mentioned it before, is XPS. What is XPS? XPS stands for extruded polystyrene foam. Okay, and extruded, I've seen this in factories. They put this polystyrene and they force it into molds and extrude it into molds like an egg carton or a coffee cup. So it's extruded into that form. And that's why it's called extruded polystyrene. Okay, it goes into a mold. So XPS, extruded polystyrene, it doesn't compost, it does not degrade, and it's almost impossible to recycle. So long after your morning scrambled eggs are all eaten, that egg carton will also be around for another 500 years or maybe even longer, while toxic chemicals seep from that carton into our environment. And as mentioned before, there is another type of styrofoam, and this is a picture from a styrofoam drive. And that type of styrofoam is called expanded polystyrene, all right? And it's manufactured through an expansion process where they blow air into it and it expands. And it's very lightweight and it's really good for packing and shipping. And it's also got really great insulating values. So it's that lightweight stuff that you use for packing and for shipping. And it is so lightweight that, in fact, 95% of this type of styrofoam is made of air. And it's also unsinkable, so it can float around and it maintains its shape and it absolutely does not degrade. And this is called, as I said before, expanded polystyrene. Okay, so they're blowing air into it and expanding it into those shapes. Okay, and even though it's lightweight and bulky and it does not degrade or compost, it consumes our landfills and toxins percolate and wash out of the styrofoam and into the environment. And in fact, up to 30% of landfill space today is made of styrofoam. Can you believe it? It's crazy. And some experts even estimate that the decomposition of styrofoam, which takes over 500 years and has very limited, recycling options, especially for XPS. And when it's exposed to sunlight, the styrofoam creates harmful pollutants in the air, and it contaminates landfills, and it depletes the ozone layer. So styrofoam actually is one of the most environmentally worst types of waste that exists today. And it impacts our planet's ecological system. And you can see how much styrofoam is in that big pile of landfill right there. So as I said, styrofoam is a major environmental problem. And every day, 1,369 tons of styrofoam is buried into our US landfills. Landfills, in fact, are filling up so quickly that styrofoam is taking up more landfill space than any other type of waste. And by volume, it fills up to 20 to 30% of the landfill space all across the world. And according to the Way to Go environmental group in Hong Kong, landfills disposed of 135 tons of polystyrene waste every day. Well, that's back in 2006, so you can imagine how much it is now. So due to this, a lot of countries and towns and cities, and in fact, have banned the use of commercial use of styrofoam. So we're going to put on our little geek hats now, and we're going to do some calculations. And everybody studied that very closely. So if you do all these calculations and you saw the picture before of the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, all the waste that's produced to fill up that stadium would take 5.06 days. So in 5 days, you'd fill up that stadium every 5 days with just the styrofoam waste from the United States. And that's EPS foam, the packing type. So we said that polystyrene, it's a member of the plastic family. And as you all are aware as good environmentalists, that every type of plastic has its own number from 1 to 7. And polystyrene or styrofoam plastic is number 6, PS. Polystyrene number 6. Okay. Oop. So as you know, the plastic family is made from gasoline and other types of hydrocarbons. And polystyrene is also a petroleum-based plastic made of styrene monomers. And the Earth Science Foundation reports that styrofoam manufacturers are the 5th largest toxic producers in the world. So that's quite hefty. Get to the next slide. Hold on. Okay. All right, so let's talk about styrene and styrofoam and the effects on human health. So here we have our coffee cup again. So when you pour some hot coffee into a styrofoam cup, what can you imagine happens? The hot liquids cause the styrene to leach out of the styrofoam cup right into your coffee. Does anybody like chicken and fries? How'd you like that in a styrofoam container? If you have it in a styrofoam container, the grease and the heat will also cause the styrene to leach right into your food. Maybe a bowl of healthy fruit sounds better. Well, the acid in the fruit actually causes the styrene to migrate into your fruit. And that sounds pretty gross and not that healthy. But a salad sounds really great. So if you put a bowl of lettuce in a styrofoam bowl, nothing will happen. But once you add that salad dressing, which has acid in it, the styrene will start to leak from the styrofoam bowl or plate into your salad, and it'll turn your salad into a toxic dump. So that does not sound good. So can you guess what would happen if you microwave styrofoam? You can't. It would, anything over 215 degrees will cause styrene to leak into your food or drink. So an oven, definitely not. Don't put styrofoam in your oven, but you probably know that. So we aren't sure what the full effects of styrene are on our bodies, but we do know that styrene is a neurotoxin, and it's very likely to be a human carcinogen, especially for leukemia and lymphoma. Styrene residues have been found in 100% of human fat tissues. That's how pervasive it is. And according to the EPA and to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, health effects from exposure to styrofoam and styrene also can irritate your skin and your eyes and your respiratory tract, and also cause gastrointestinal problems. So in fact, maybe we shouldn't be using styrofoam at all for our food and drinks. Well, let's take a look at the environmental hazards of styrofoam and polystyrene. Well, you can see this coffee cup and chunk of plastic. It didn't quite make it into the landfill or the garbage. But you know that eventually, as it's lying along the street and the wind starts blowing and the rain starts coming, it'll make its way into a stream, a river, a lake, and eventually an ocean. And in fact, the Oradell Environmental Committee has participated in several Hackensack River cleanups. And the predominant type of litter that we find in these cleanups is styrofoam, the cups, the straws, packaging. It's crazy. So now, we talked before that styrofoam can float, doesn't like to sink. And when it hits the ocean over time, it can be exposed to sunlight and the water, and it can break into little tiny pieces. And it ends up looking a lot like this. Can anybody guess what this is? They're fish eggs. It's not styrofoam, okay? But it looks a lot like little pieces of styrofoam. So when the birds and the fish see it, they think they're actually eating fish eggs. And when they eat the plastic, it kills them because obviously it's filled with toxins. And here you can see a seagull. He's eating the small pieces of styrofoam that broke apart, thinking it's food. And actually birds and the aquatic wildlife eat more types of number 6 styrofoam than any other type of plastic because it looks like food once it breaks apart. And it's not healthy for fish, it's not healthy for birds or any of us along the food chain. And as we said, styrofoam disintegrates over time into microplastics that spread throughout our oceans and endanger our wildlife for thousands and thousands of years. And you can see the mess here. Yeah, styrofoam is actually the perfect pollutant. It's lightweight, it's buoyant, and it floats around. It can travel to far and distant places. And the research shows that about 80% of all ocean pollution originates from land. And which points, and they feel that EPS type trash is the primary culprit for the ocean pollution. And in 2015, the World Watch Institute revealed that 10 to 20 million tons of plastic finds its way into our world's oceans every year. That's a lot because styrofoam is very light. So that's a lot of styrofoam. And polystyrene foam comprises 90% of all marine debris, and single-use food and beverage containers are one of the most common pollutants in ocean and coastal surveys when they surveyed what they found. So what can we do about the problem of styrofoam? Many American towns and cities have enacted legislation to ban extruded polystyrene, the XPS, right? That's cups and plates and egg cartons and food containers. And in fact, we're very proud that New Jersey has taken action with the signing of bill number S864, which will ban most polystyrene foam beginning May 2022. That's the XPS type, remember the extruded one. But there's a lot of exceptions, as you can see, but the bill is one of the most stringent plastic bans in the United States. So we're very proud of that. So let's talk a little more about EPS styrofoam. Remember the expanded styrofoam, all right? And guess what? It can be recycled. It can be melted and densified and condensed and repurposed into new types of products. And companies use this processed EPS to manufacture picture frames, architectural moldings, and many, many more items. And in fact, they even use EPS condensed styrofoam, the recycled one, for underwater bridge pilings. That's how strong and stable it is. So here you'll see I'm showing you a picture of EPS densifier. So you put the styrofoam in, and that's before on the left. And when it comes out, it's all melted and condensed into these heavy, heavy hard pellets that can be reused for other purposes. So now we're going to have a little quiz. And Christine is going to put up a little quiz. And I hope that you paid attention to the calculations that we had in the beginning, because I'm going to ask you how many days it takes to fill Giant Stadium. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that, but we're going to take this quiz. So here we have, Christine's going to put up a poll, and I want you to vote for all the things, types of polystyrene that you think can be recycled. So number 1, we have packing peanuts. And number 2, we have some packing styrofoam. Number 3, we have some EPS styrofoam. Number 4 are some egg cartons. Number 5 are some meat trays, and number 6 are some styrofoam polystyrene sheets that we use for packing. So once the poll comes up, everybody vote for what can be recycled, and we'll see how you guys did.
Margaret, can you see the poll?
I can see the poll.
Excellent.
So everybody will give you a minute to vote, and for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So if you click on that, you can vote. Okay. I am going to vote and submit. Okay, is the poll going live, Christine?
Can you see it?
I just submitted mine.
Yes. 10 out of 14 people have voted.
Okay, we'll give you another 30 seconds. How's it looking, Christine?
Still 10 out of 14.
Okay.
4 more people. Take a wild guess. Oh, 11 out of 14.
Okay. So I don't have the results up. You'll have to share them with us.
Yes. Okay. 3 people are not voting, I guess.
That's okay.
Okay, so I can end the poll and share the results. Okay, there you go.
All righty. So 18% of you said that styrofoam packing peanuts can be recycled. No, they cannot be recycled. Very difficult. Number 2, the styrofoam filler. 27% said that can be recycled. Nope, cannot be recycled. 73% of you said that the EPS foam packing material number 3 can be recycled. That is correct, it can be recycled. Number 4, egg cartons. 27% of you said that egg cartons can be recycled. No, they cannot be recycled. That's XPS styrofoam. And I'll tell you a little anecdote. One of the first drives that I was at, this elderly gentleman came in this big old station wagon. It was absolutely packed with styrofoam egg cartons. And we felt really badly, but we had to turn him away. But he had saved, I don't know, it must have been 100 egg cartons in there. Number 5, styrofoam meat trays. No, they cannot be recycled. And number 6, styrofoam packing sheets. They cannot be recycled either. Okay. So the only one that we can recycle at this point in time is number 3, the EPS styrofoam that you see there, that big block of packing foam. And that's the type that we collect for all of the styrofoam drives. Okay, let me go to next. Oh, Christine, did you, okay. So how can you recycle the EPS styrofoam? As we said, you can collect it and bring it to a styrofoam drive. And in, as Christine said, in January 2nd, 2021, Fairlawn held a styrofoam drive, and we had so much EPS styrofoam that came in for recycling that it filled a 26-foot truck in just 1.5 hours. And what was it? Almost 200 cars had to be turned away. Couldn't even fit it. So it's really, people want to recycle their styrofoam. And so you can find out about a styrofoam drive in your area and also get more information about the Bergen County Hub free styrofoam free initiative by downloading these QR codes with your smartphone. So if you, I'll give you a minute. If you have the app on your phone, you can take pictures of these, scan these in, and then it'll bring you to the links where you can get more information about styrofoam drives and about styrofoam education and the other great things that the Styrofoam Free Committee is doing. So you can just scan it right from your computer screen with your smartphone. So I'll give you a minute to do that. All right. Did everybody who wanted to take a picture of those get to do that? All right.
If you're using your smartphone, you can actually do a screenshot.
You could do, yeah, you can do a screenshot too, or you could just do it right here. You could do it right if you're watching on your, yeah, you could do a screenshot. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. All right. So it's important that you collect and recycle your EPS styrofoam. And you can encourage your municipality or town to hold an EPS styrofoam drive. We can help you with that. Or you can set up your own EPS styrofoam recycling program. And here's a picture of Oradell and our trailer. And we collect EPS styrofoam on a regular basis. It's part of our recycling program. And you see our volunteers here sorting and packing up the trailer. And it's very popular in Oradell. Our truck's getting filled up every 2 months, 2.5 months. So people really want to recycle their styrofoam. So everyone can help solve the styrofoam problem. You can avoid using XPS food containers yourself. You can encourage your local businesses to find environmentally safe and healthy alternatives too. And in fact, XPS styrofoam has been banned in all Bergen County parks right now. So you can encourage your businesses to look for environmentally friendly products such as shown on the screen. As we said, you can encourage your local businesses to go styrofoam free. And the program's been well received in several municipalities in Bergen County. When your business goes styrofoam free, you'll get this certificate and a window cling and be very, very proud that you're styrofoam free. Something that we would encourage. And I think we also have a little survey for people to ask their businesses about their recycling efforts and styrofoam usage. And you can also encourage your town to hold a collection drive. And here's a sample flyer. We have all this to share with you if your town would like to do a drive. It's important to be an advocate for a countywide expanded polystyrene recycling. So you can appeal to your Bergen County commissioners to support a sustainable program. You can contact Tracy Zoor at this. You can take a screenshot of this if you'd like, or Mary J. Amorosa, who works on the environmental issues. So you can be an advocate. And we hope that this presentation made you a little more aware of the problem of styrofoam. We all share the common goal of clean water, air, and a healthy, safe environment. It's important that we be good stewards of our environment so that we can leave a sustainable future for generations to come. Thank you very much, and we'll open it up to questions.